Hey, this is Sal.
And this is Val,
Host of the HREBA Show, Home Ownership, Hear It From the Experts.
broadcasting live each week on Tuesdays at 2 to 3 p.m. from the Fishbowl Radio Network studios at Globe Light Park in Arlington, Texas.
Log on to hear from industry experts such as realtors, loan officers, title agents, and other real estate-related professionals who will provide you important information if you're looking to buy your first home or if you're looking to sustain your current home.
So be sure to log on each week on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. to catch the HREBA Show.
Saludos, soy Olga Ríos de HREBA Show. Sintonícenos en español cada tercer martes del mes de 2 a 3 de la tarde. ¿Desea obtener información sobre la compra de una casa o retención de su actual vivienda? Tendremos invitados especiales expertos sobre una diversidad de temas en bienes raíces, tales como financiación hipotecaria, asistencia de enganche, cómo mejorar su crédito y demás temáticas. Así que únete a nosotros, conéctate a HREBA Show en español cada tercer martes de 2 a 3. ¡Los esperamos!
Hi, I'm Sal. I'm the host of the HREBA Show, Home Ownership, Hear It From the Experts, on the Fishbowl Radio Network every Tuesday from 2 to 3. I've been a loan officer for the past 25 years.
And I'm Val Garcia. I've been a real estate broker for the last 10 years, and I'm co-hosting.
Saludos, I'm Olga Ríos. I have experience in real estate investments for the past 11 years and have served my community as a realtor for nearly 5 years.
Here on the HREBA Show, we'll be bringing you information if you're looking to sustain your home, looking to purchase a home, or if you're trying to prepare to buy a home.
On the HREBA Show, we'll be bringing you experts every week in all aspects of real estate, everything from home warranty companies to loan officers to home inspectors to help guide you along the way.
So no need to fear. We are here to provide a wealth of information for you. Join us Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Saludos, soy Olga Ríos, anfitriona de HREBA Show en español. Sintonícenos cada tercer martes del mes a las 2 de la tarde. Mi familia ha invertido en bienes raíces por los últimos 11 años y yo he servido a mi comunidad como agente inmobiliaria por casi 5 años. ¿Desea obtener más información sobre el proceso de la compra de una casa o cómo sostener su actual vivienda? Les invito a que participen, a escuchar de nuestros invitados especiales que son expertos en bienes raíces. Nuestros expertos le guiarán y contestarán sus preguntas sobre asistencia financiera sobre los gastos de costos de cierre o de enganche y también sobre escrituras, inspección de casa, seguros de casa, toda la información que usted necesita para tomar una decisión informada. Le invitamos que nos sintonice cada tercer martes del mes a las 2 de la tarde. Aquí le esperamos.
On the HREBA Show, every Tuesday at 2, we will highlight a special HREBA member. This member will share how they were able to help someone just like you achieve your dream of home ownership. They will share with us their secrets to serving. Join us Tuesday at 2 for our Member Spotlight.
This month, we commemorate the 53rd anniversary of a law that guarantees one of our most basic rights, the right to fair housing. The Fair Housing Act was enacted in 1968 and is widely known as the last major piece of legislation of the civil rights movement. Today, the Fair Housing Act is more important than ever. The purpose of the law is to bring an end to discrimination in housing and to eliminate the patterns of racial and ethnic segregation and economic disparities that have long existed in our neighborhoods and communities. While our journey to justice in housing is far from over, I am proud to say that HUD is taking real actions in the name of greater equity for all. The past year has reminded us just how important access to safe, stable housing is. The COVID-19 pandemic shined a light on long-standing inequities, including access to housing. That's why my first priority is to provide support to those who are suffering as a result of this pandemic, particularly those who have borne the brunt of this crisis. As Secretary, I am prioritizing advancing equity in housing. The fact of the matter is that the racial ownership gap is wider today than it was over 50 years ago when the Fair Housing Act was first enacted. True progress will require us to confront discriminatory practices.
You're listening to The HREBA Show, homeownership, hear it from the experts, live from the Fishbowl Radio Network at Globe Life Park, Arlington, Texas, the American Dream City. Today, I'm very honored to be hosting with my co-host.
I'm Val Garcia.
Hey, Val. How's it going? Today, I'm so very honored to be part of this discussion with Val Garcia. Val being a realtor and I being a loan officer. So we know quite a bit of fair housing and how the importance of fair housing to all, because that's something that is our right to have fair housing in this country.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
It is. So Sal, before we get started, I think it's super important for people to understand something. You want to listen and watch today's show because it's going to be awesome.
Right.
So if you're a real estate agent, insurance agent, anything whatsoever, jump on, watch this, listen to it, call your friends, call your coworkers, let them know. If you're at home getting ready to start purchasing a house, jump on, call your tias, your tios, get them all on, because we got a lot of information for you today.
If you're looking to rent, thinking of moving out your first time, you're looking to it for a different
and not just a house itself, but applying for a loan.
Exactly.
Today's the show, guys. Y'all need to start calling right now. We'll give you a couple minutes to start calling, but y'all need to hurry up.
So, Val, what is fair housing? Give us a little example of what fair housing is, or tell us what it is, better yet.
Okay. So, the Fair Housing Act, coming straight off the Fair Housing site, is the Fair Housing Act protects people from discrimination when they are renting or buying a home, getting a mortgage, seeking housing assistance, or engaging in other house-related activities that apply to federally assisted housing. So,
all right. So so fair housing is also otherwise known as Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968. Mm-hmm. So a little history about how it was created. The enactment of the federal act. Oh, and before we go any further, I just want to just before disclosure that the information that we are gathering is from the HUD.gov website. So HUD.gov. So it's the Urban Housing Development, Housing and Urban Development, and a website. So that way, if you want to get more information, more detailed information, you can go onto that website, HUD.gov, and inquire as to fair housing.
Highly recommend jumping on there. You can spend hours of information is on this site. You need to jump on there and take a look.
Right. So the act, the act was enacted in 1968, actually April of 1968. So that's 53 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and it's benefited so many people. It was enacted after a long and difficult process. Lyndon B. Johnson in 1968, after many years, I think it was like 3 or 4 years of them trying to pass the Fair Housing Act, it would go to Congress, and it wasn't getting a lot of support. Then, the tragic assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King on April 4th of 1968 started the wheels in motion again. President Johnson took advantage of that situation to try to pass the act, the Fair Housing Act, in which it did on April 11th of 1968. Unfortunately, it took a tragedy to do so. And why? Because of due to Martin Luther King's assassination, was because Dr. Martin Luther King was always on the forefront of fair housing. So, and he being President Johnson, wanted to make sure that this was passed prior to his funeral in Atlanta a few days later. So
it's probably one of the most well-needed things our country needed. Yes. You know, it benefits millions of people.
Right.
Just right down the line.
Right. And one of the other reasons was during the Vietnam War, a lot of our military, a lot of our veterans were African American and Hispanics, and they were in the forefront on those lines, putting their lives at risk and protecting our liberties. And here at home, their families couldn't rent an apartment, couldn't buy a home. So
isn't that just absurd?
Yes.
I mean, just thinking about the concept is just crazy.
It is. So, thank you, President Johnson, I mean, for such an incredible effort to push this act through. And it's benefited so many, I would say millions of people over the years.
Oh, absolutely.
Over 53 years.
It continues to just help people every single day of every year.
Right. It definitely does.
And just so people know, these laws are strict, they're very clear, and they are very aggressive when you break them. So
it is.
They're not fooling around with this.
So, Val, you're a real estate agent.
Yes.
Tell us what an action that is not acceptable based on the FAIR Act from your standpoint of an agent.
So what we see sometimes is we'll call, like if I'm trying to find somebody a rental place, I will call and say, hey, I have a highly qualified client. They're excited about this property. It's going to fit all their needs. And I have personally gotten what race are they? And I'm like, are you kidding me? And they're like, I only like to rent to certain people. They keep things a certain way. And it's immediate hang up for me. I mean, that's just bad news all the way around.
Right.
So those are some of the things we'll touch on today.
Right. So the Fair Housing Act, again, it's an act that protects people from discrimination when they are renting, buying a home, when they're getting a mortgage, when they're seeking home assistance, if they're engaging in other home-related activities. There's so many different additional protections that are applied under this federal housing assisted programs, and just housing in general. It doesn't have to be a program.
Yeah.
So who's protected under the Fair Housing Act?
So for protection, the protected classes are race, color, national origin, religions are protected, sex is protected, familial status, and disabilities. And those are the ones that are listed. And it's always changing. They continue to add to this class. You would think by now all this would be, we're all humans. We're all
right.
doing the same thing. But.
So if you feel that you're wronged, stick through the entire show. We're going to touch base on how you can find a complaint or how you can inquire if you were wronged. Because again, we are all entitled to fair housing from anybody and everybody in this country, right? So what types of properties are covered? I mean, is it,
Well, let me just read to you straight from the site.
Okay.
So there's no gray matter here.
Okay.
The Fair Housing Act covers most housing. In very limited circumstances, the Act exempts owner-occupied buildings with no more than 4 units, single-family houses sold or rented by the owner without the use of an agent, and housing operated by religious organizations and private clubs that limit occupancy to members.
So, yeah, I mean, again, it's a little ambiguous.
Yeah.
But you can always make a phone call and inquire further. Again, we will recommend that you that you go to the HUD.gov. Look at their website. They have a site where you can go, and we'll touch on it, of how you can go and make a formal complaint. So let's talk about what is prohibited. So in those cases, there's so many So there's so many classes of what is prohibited, and we're going to touch base on that when we come back after this break. So stay tuned. Please give us a call and let us know if you have any questions.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll catch you on the flip side. Hey, this is Sal.
And this is Val.
Host of the HREBA Show, Home Ownership, Hear It From the Experts.
Broadcasting live each week on Tuesdays at 2 to 3 p.m. from the Fishbowl Radio Network studios at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas.
Log on to hear from industry experts such as realtors, loan officers, title agents, and other real estate-related professionals who will provide you important information if you're looking to buy your first home or if you're looking to sustain your current home.
So be sure to log on each week on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. to catch the HREBA Show.
Saludos, soy Olga Ríos de HREBA Show. Sintonícenos en español cada tercer martes del mes de 2 a 3 de la tarde. ¿Desea obtener información sobre la compra de una casa o retención de su actual vivienda? Tendremos invitados especiales expertos sobre una diversidad de temas en bienes raíces, tales como financiación hipotecaria, asistencia de enganche, cómo mejorar su crédito y demás temáticas. Así que únete a nosotros, conéctate a HREBA Show en español cada tercer martes de 2 a 3. Los esperamos.
Hi, I'm Sal. I'm the host of the HREBA Show, Home Ownership, Hear It From the Experts, on the Fishbowl Radio Network every Tuesday from 2 to 3. I've been a loan officer for the past 25 years.
And I'm Val Garcia. I've been a real estate broker for the last 10 years, and I'm co-hosting.
Saludos, I'm Olga Ríos. I have experience in real estate investments for the past 11 years and have served my community as a realtor for nearly 5 years.
Here on the HREBA Show, we'll be bringing you information if you're looking to sustain your home, looking to purchase a home, or if you're trying to prepare to buy a home.
On the HREBA Show, we'll be bringing you experts every week in all aspects of real estate, everything from home warranty companies to loan officers to home inspectors to help guide you along the way.
So no need to fear. We are here to provide a wealth of information for you. Join us Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Saludos, soy Olga Ríos, anfitriona de HREBA Show en español. Sintonícenos cada tercer martes del mes a las 2 de la tarde. Mi familia ha invertido en bienes raíces por los últimos 11 años y yo he servido a mi comunidad como agente inmobiliaria por casi 5 años. ¿Desea obtener más información sobre el proceso de la compra de una casa o cómo sostener su actual vivienda? Les invito a que participen, a escuchar de nuestros invitados especiales que son expertos en bienes raíces. Nuestros expertos le guiarán y contestarán sus preguntas sobre asistencia financiera sobre los gastos de costos de cierre o de enganche y también sobre escrituras, inspección de casa, seguros de casa, toda la información que usted necesita para tomar una decisión informada. Le invitamos que nos sintonice cada tercer martes del mes a las 2 de la tarde. Aquí le esperamos.
On the HREBA Show, every Tuesday at 2, we will highlight a special HREBA member. This member will share how they were able to help someone just like you achieve your dream of home ownership. They will share with us their secrets to serving. Join us Tuesday at 2 for our Member Spotlight.
This month, we commemorate the 53rd anniversary of a law that guarantees one of our most basic rights, the right to fair housing. The Fair Housing Act was enacted in 1968 and is widely known as the last major piece of legislation of the civil rights movement. Today, the Fair Housing Act is more important than ever. The purpose of the law is to bring an end to discrimination in housing and to eliminate the patterns of racial and ethnic segregation and economic disparities that have long existed in our neighborhoods and communities. While our journey to justice in housing is far from over, I am proud to say that HUD is taking real actions in the name of greater equity for all. The past year has reminded us just how important access to safe, stable housing is. The COVID
You're listening to The REBA Show, Home Ownership. Hear it from the experts live from Fishbowl Radio Network at Globe Life Park, Arlington, Texas, the American Dream City. My name is Salvador Villalobos, your host, and co-hosting with me today is
Val Garcia.
Hey, Val. Thank you for being part of this important show.
Absolutely.
We're discussing the Fair Housing Act that was enacted on April 11th, 1968. It has benefited millions of people over the past 53 years, protecting them with fair housing. Before the break, we discussed the options of what is a protected.
Who is protected?
Who is protected, right?
What kind of houses are covered?
Right.
So I wanted to touch on what's prohibited. What's prohibited in the sale and rental of housing. Let me start off by saying it is illegal to discriminate, to take any of the following actions because of race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin. So I wanted to touch on some of these little examples, and you stop me when something hits a chord.
Okay.
With you, okay. To refuse to rent or sell a house to someone. Refuse to negotiate on a house. To make a house unavailable to people.
And we touched base on that earlier at lunch today.
We did. It's kind of something that's happening.
And I was having a conversation with an agent this morning, and she was stating that she was not able to see a lot of these homes on the MLS. So she went out to one of the sites that provides listings. Called the listing agent a couple of weeks back or a week ago. Said the house was under contract. Called it another one that was also under contract. The other one was sold, but when she went to go look at it again yesterday and today, those properties are still available.
Yeah,
that is such a violation of fair housing. And whether they know it or not, I mean, it's not excusable.
Yeah, and I know that being in the real estate business, the example you just gave right now is to the T. As agents, we have so much stuff going on that when we call someone else and they say, hey, we actually just accepted a contract on this, the house is unavailable now, we may not go back and look at it because we're trying to find stuff that's available. But our clients always go back to see if it's really been taken or they just didn't get an opportunity. Okay.
So my recommendation was talk to your broker, talk to the state's attorney.
Turn it in.
Go to the HUD website. There is on the Fair Housing Equal Opportunity site on there. You can file a complaint. You don't have to be the one that has been wronged. Yep. You can be the one who experienced it, right? But not necessarily being the one that's wronged.
It's the only way we're going to get things fixed.
That's right.
Only way.
That's right.
People got to step up and say, hey, this is happening. Let me give you a couple more examples.
Sure.
Set different terms and conditions or privileges for sale or rental of a dwelling.
Give me an example. What would that be? What would that look like?
So if I bring a client, if I call you, Sal, and say, hey, I have a client that loves this house. He wants to make an offer on this house, and you kind of around the bush. Can you tell me a little about your client? And I tried to explain, and they're like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna like this kind of person. They go, actually, we were just updating that price on it. You actually caught me while I was on my keyboard. We're raising it $10,000. So that's a violation right there.
Oh,
you can't put it at a price for certain people, and then once you find out more about them, all of a sudden you want to raise the price. That's not how it works.
That's flagrant.
Yeah. So provide a person different housing services or facilities. Falsely deny the housing is available for inspection, sale, or rental. So that happens a lot. That one I hear about. I've never had this happen to me or any of my clients, but I have heard that one agent calls and says, hey, my client wanted to see this house, and they get told, no, it's unavailable right now. It's, we're working on it. Another agent calls 20 minutes later, and they get a showing.
Oh,
Yeah, so
that's not good.
yeah, it's not good at all. Make, print, or publish any notice or statement or advertise with respect to the sale or rental of a dwelling that indicates any preference, limitations, or discriminations. Impose different sales prices, that's what we talked about,
Right.
or rental changes for the sale or rental of a dwelling.
So if you're renting, if you're a prospect, you're looking at different buildings to rent or homes, and they advertise one price, but
Yeah.
then you come in and they raise it more than the market rents, just so they can technically price you out, right?
Yeah, they can price you out, or they can say, hey, if you're a single person, I'll rent it to you for this much, but if you have 2 children or 3 children and a pet,
Right.
it's this much.
Now, what if they already rent the property? They're already in there, and they're calling for maintenance. They're calling, hey, you need to come in, and the air conditioner's not working, and it's like
Yeah.
July.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can't get there.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
You
for
can't
that.
get there. You
Yeah.
need to get a repair person in there.
Especially whatever the maintenance issue is, they need to get there. It's written in the contracts. They got to provide service. They got to get there. Air conditioning, that kind of stuff in July and June here in Texas, that's death. That could be death.
Right. And if it isn't, even if it's uncomfortable, you're
Yeah.
not supposed. That's a form of harassment, isn't it? In a way. Yeah.
How about this one? Use different qualifications, criteria, or applications, or sell or rental standards to produce such an incoming standard. Application requirements, application fees, credit analysis, sell or rental approvals. To evict a tenant or tenant's guest.
All right. So we actually have a caller. So good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon.
Well, thank you for calling in. What is your question today or statement?
Okay. Well, this is Leticia Gallegos, and I just wanted to say something. Let me get you off the video here. But anyway, I just wanted to say, as a real estate agent, I think that, and I just wanted to.
I'm sorry. We just.
We lose her?
I think so. Leticia, if you can hear us, if you wouldn't mind calling back, we eagerly wait your call.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the reason I was calling as a real estate agent, I think that I love what you guys are talking about. It's very important. Fair Housing Month in April, and it should be every month. And as agents, there's a lot of us agents that are doing property management. So when we're talking about rentals, I just wanted to tell your listeners that there's a lot of competition right now on rental properties. So there's a lot of applications on one rental property. And as real estate agents, to protect ourselves, because there's a reason why a rental property is not rented to a person. If there's 10 applications, only one can get it, right?
That's correct.
So in order for us to protect ourselves and to communicate with the applicant, we must tell the applicant why they were denied. And so that is part of the procedure when you're taking applications. And I wanted your audience to know also that if you apply for a rental property and you don't get any response at all, then you do need to contact that agent, because you need a reason for why you were denied. And so I think that's really important, especially because it applies to fair housing. You need communication. You need to know why. So I was thinking about that as you all were talking, because it is important that the protected classes know their rights, and everyone really know their rights.
Exactly. And this law, this act protects so many, again, millions of residents, citizens, from rental to insurance to buying to selling to having access, mobility in a home if you have disabilities. Leticia, we thank you so much for calling in and providing that important information to our listeners who are renters, to our agents that are out there showing renters properties, and if they're not getting the responses as to why they were not accepted. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And during this pandemic, as you guys know, it's really shown the inequalities. Even though the act is 53 years old this year, we still see the discriminations and the inequalities, and this pandemic has exposed all of that. So we want the listeners to know that they have rights and to stand up if they feel they've been discriminated against.
Correct. Definitely. Thank you so much for
All
the
right.
call, Leticia.
Good,
Thank
great
you.
chat.
And then also on that note, denying access or membership into any multiple listing service or real estate brokers organization, why would that violate fair housing?
So on our listing agreements, it says that you are authorizing a broker or real estate agent to list this property on everything they possibly can to get the word out to everybody. So everybody has the same opportunity to it. So if a broker, or you tell somebody, hey, you can list it here, here, and here, but I do not want you putting it on this site. If there's a website that caters to certain types of people or religions or something,
Certain
demographics, absolutely.
Right.
Then it could it's not an open playing field. It's just not, and it just makes me mad.
Right.
I mean, it makes me mad. I'm sorry. It just does.
I'm right there with you.
So I encourage everybody to get out and understand these laws, understand them. Not only if you're looking to rent or to purchase, but if you're selling or if you're renting, go and read them. You may be doing something you don't even know is illegal, and not knowing the law does not excuse you from liability.
A willful blind eye doesn't keep you out of jail.
Yeah. I mean, you can scan this for 15 minutes and it'll blow your mind, everything that's on here.
So, I mean, if you're a potential renter, a buyer, and you're out with an agent, and that agent is steering you, because that's also a form of a violation of the Fair Housing Act.
That's a monster one.
Right.
I mean, I can't imagine driving somebody and going, hey, you guys ought to look over here, y'all fit in.
Right.
That's just crazy talk.
Right.
Just crazy talk.
Right, because of either whatever the reason is, whatever the protected class that's covered there, they're trying to steer you to somewhere you may not want to live.
Absolutely.
But they feel that they, being the agent, either the leasing agent or rental agent, is steering you into an area that you truly don't want to be in, for no other reason that you just don't want to be there. We have our right. We work, we earn our money, we save it, and we have the right to spend it how we want to.
It does not matter where you want to live. If you can afford it, you can get into it, you get into it.
Exactly.
It doesn't end, fair housing doesn't end on homes or properties. It also goes into mortgage lending as well.
Mortgage lending, it goes into harassment, different types of harassment. And we're going to touch a little bit on everything: hostile environments, advertising, intimidation. There's so many things that are encompassed within this act that we actually need a whole month's worth of time to go over everything. So we're just going to touch base. Again, we're getting this from HUD.gov, straight from the government's website, explaining what the Fair Housing Act is and all of its, how you're protected, right? And how you may be discriminated against. So with mortgage lending, I'll touch base on that one.
Yeah, that's your specialty there.
That's my specialty. It's illegal to discriminate or taking any action based on race, color, religion, sex, disabilities, familial status, or national origin. We can't refuse to make an application with anyone or provide financial assistance for a dwelling. We cannot refuse that. Somebody wants to come in and take an application regardless of the situation, we have to willingly and happily take their application, knowing that it may or may not go further based on their situation, but it is our responsibility as a lender to take an application for every person that calls us or steps in our door. We cannot refuse to provide information regarding loans. They want to know, they're on the lower end of the income spectrum, and they want to know information regarding jumbo loans.
Yeah.
It is our responsibility to give them that information.
Yes.
We are not there to judge. We're not there to do anything but provide information and do our best, right?
Absolutely.
We can't impose different terms or conditions on a loan, such as different interest rates or charging more points or more fees because of any of the characteristics of a protected class, right? We cannot discriminate on appraisals for a dwelling. Okay, so, houses have to be appraised with and compared by comparables in that area. It shouldn't be different for somebody that they're buying because of what their the base of religion, color, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin, or even disabilities, right? We can't condition the availability of a loan on a person's response to harassment. I mean, we have to be able to give everybody a fair opportunity to housing, to purchase that home. Correct?
Absolutely.
So, let me give you an example. Denying a mortgage or charging a higher interest rate because the property is located in a majority-minority neighborhood. Providing a different customer service experience to a mortgage applicant depending on their race, their color, their religion, sex, familial status, national origin, or disability. Refusing to consider a mortgage applicant disability-related income, such as SSI or disability. It's not up to us. Or if they're accepting the disability for one of their children or somebody in their care. It is none of our business how they get it, as long as it's acceptable.
Correct.
That's what we need to do. Steering a borrower to a loan with less favorable terms because his or her race, color, religion, sex, familial status, national origin, or disability, that was prevalent back in the early 2000s, in the 1990s and the 1980s, and let's not even forget the 1970s. There was redlining. We're so past from that, but we're not that far yet.
We're not.
Yeah.
I mean, we've taken huge steps, but they're still baby steps.
Right. Right. And we're targeting, we cannot target a minority community for fraudulent home loan modification assistance. You would hear these horrible stories of people charging people, homeowners, with in these dire straits, trying to keep their home, and they were being misled that they would help them with the modification and charging them thousands of dollars to go nowhere. Or refusing to provide a mortgage to a woman on a maternity leave. That is not what we need to do. We need to treat everybody fairly.
I wanted to touch a little bit on advertising.
Yes, sir.
And we're kind of running out of time, so I wanted to give you an example of what I see.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to my agents in my brokerage about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you a sentence that I see in listings, on
Okay.
home listings at time, and you tell me how many of these are on here. Okay? Stunning three bedroom, 2-bath homes. Walking distance to park. Great family home. Okay? That's how it reads. Okay? You cannot say it's walking distance to park, because you're violating people that are disabled. What if they cannot walk? Okay? You cannot say family home. What if I am a single person that wants to buy this house? Now you're telling me that it's a family home. So,
Keep on looking.
yeah. So it's an innocent thing that people do, but they don't realize that they're violating the laws, especially with this advertising like this. So the ideal thing would be stunning 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes, close to parks, great location, wonderful neighborhood. Kind of puts the same thing across, but it keeps you out of violation.
Right.
So advertising is a very dangerous thing, the way people word things with fair housing. So really, if you're an agent out there, a realtor out there, pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. Pay attention to what you're. You can't, from my understanding from continuing education, you can't even put in there close to a taco stand or Chinese restaurant or some worship,
House of worship.
House of worship, depending on whatever religion it is.
Yeah.
These are prohibited because you are somewhat isolating somebody that you shouldn't be.
We really need like 8 hours to talk about this.
Like a whole month.
Yeah, we really do.
So every day is fair housing, right?
Every day.
So every day is. So, yeah. So we will catch you on the other side of the break. We'll be discussing a little bit more about fair housing and how it impacts our communities. So we'll catch you on the flip side of this break.
How's that?
Hey, this is Sal,
And this is Val.
host of the HREBA Show, Home Ownership, Hear It From the Experts.
Broadcasting live each week on Tuesdays at 2 to 3 p.m. from the Fishbowl Radio Network studios at Globe Lake Park in Arlington, Texas.
Log on to hear from industry experts such as realtors, loan officers, title agents, and other real estate-related professionals who will provide you important information if you're looking to buy your first home or if you're looking to sustain your current home.
So be sure to log on each week on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. to catch the HREBA Show.
Saludos, soy Olga Ríos de HREBA Show. Sintonícenos en español cada tercer martes del mes de 2 a 3 de la tarde. ¿Desea obtener información sobre la compra de una casa o retención de su actual vivienda? Tendremos invitados especiales expertos sobre una diversidad de temas en bienes raíces, tales como financiación hipotecaria, asistencia de enganche, cómo mejorar su crédito y demás temáticas. Así que únete a nosotros, conéctate a HREBA Show en español cada tercer martes de 2 a 3. ¡Los esperamos!
Hi, I'm Sal. I'm the host of the HREBA Show, Home Ownership, Hear It From the Experts, on the Fishbowl Radio Network every Tuesday from 2 to 3. I've been a loan officer for the past 25 years.
And I'm Val Garcia. I've been a real estate broker for the last 10 years, and I'm co-hosting.
Saludos, I'm Olga Ríos. I have experience in real estate investments for the past 11 years and have served my community as a realtor for nearly 5 years.
Here on the HREBA Show, we'll be bringing you information if you're looking to sustain your home, looking to purchase a home, or if you're trying to prepare to buy a home.
On the HREBA Show, we'll be bringing you experts every week in all aspects of real estate, everything from home warranty companies to loan officers to home inspectors to help guide you along the way.
So no need to fear. We are here to provide a wealth of information for you. Join us Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Saludos, soy Olga Ríos, anfitriona de HREBA Show en español. Sintonícenos cada tercer martes del mes a las 2 de la tarde. Mi familia ha invertido en bienes raíces por los últimos 11 años y yo he servido a mi comunidad como agente inmobiliaria por casi 5 años. ¿Desea obtener más información sobre el proceso de la compra de una casa o cómo sostener su actual vivienda? Les invito a que participen, a escuchar de nuestros invitados especiales que son expertos en bienes raíces. Nuestros expertos le guiarán y contestarán sus preguntas sobre asistencia financiera sobre los gastos de costos de cierre o de enganche y también sobre escrituras, inspección de casa, seguros de casa, toda la información que usted necesita para tomar una decisión informada. Le invitamos que nos sintonice cada tercer martes del mes a las 2 de la tarde. Aquí le esperamos.
On the REBA show, every Tuesday at 2, we will highlight a special REBA member. This member will share how they were able to help someone just like you achieve your dream of homeownership. They will share with us their secrets to serving. Join us Tuesday at 2 for our Member Spotlight.
This month, we commemorate the 53rd anniversary of a law that guarantees one of our most basic rights, the right to fair housing. The Fair Housing Act was enacted in 1968 and is widely known as the last major piece of legislation of the civil rights movement. Today, the Fair Housing Act is more important than ever. The purpose of the law is to bring an end to discrimination in housing and to eliminate the patterns of racial and ethnic segregation and economic disparities that have long existed in our neighborhoods and communities. While our journey to justice in housing is far from over, I am proud to say that HUD is taking real actions in the name of greater equity for all. The past year has reminded us just how important access to safe, stable housing is. The COVID-19 pandemic shined a light on long-standing inequities, including access to housing. That's
You're listening to the REBA Show, Homeownership. Hear it from the experts, live from Fishbowl Radio Network at Globe Life Park, Arlington, Texas, the American Dream City. My name again is Sal Villalobos, your host. And
Co-hosting today is Val Garcia.
Hey, welcome back, Val.
Of course, I wouldn't have left you.
Right. So, Val, we discussed a lot of ways that we are protected under the Fair Housing Act of 1968.
Yeah.
Very important act that has helped millions of people over the past 53 years. We're commemorating the show to them, to all the millions of people it's helped and all the millions of people it will continue to help.
Yes.
So, listeners, viewers, if you feel that you've been violated, or if you're not sure, but or you know of somebody that's been violated and they may not feel comfortable coming forward, you can actually go to HUD.gov, go to their Fair Housing Equal Opportunity, or you can enter that in their search bar, and you can go and file an online complaint. You can do it in English or Spanish. You can send an email, and you can download that form. It's available in Arabic, Cambodian, Chinese, Korean, Russian, Somali, Spanish, and Vietnamese. And you can also email your local Fair Housing Equal Opportunity office. And there's a list there of where you can send that to. And that's, again, on HUD.gov, and that's the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. You can give them a call at 1-800-669-9777. Again, 1-800-669-9777. Or you can call 1-800-877-8339. 800-877-8339. Or you can send them an email. Snail mail.
Yeah, snail mail.
Snail mail. Buy that stamp. Don't forget. You can print that form again in Arabic, Cambodian, Chinese, Korean, Russian, Somali, Spanish, and Vietnamese. And there is a list of the offices that you can send it to for your area. So if you feel that you've been wronged, you've been discriminated against, or somebody that you know, don't let it go by. Do something about it. That's the only way we're going to be able to go forward.
Absolutely. HUD.gov. Here at the REBA Show, we serve you by providing information about home ownership as you prepare for home ownership or sustain your current home. It is important to us that you have all the information and tools you need to make informed financial decisions. Guys, please become a loyal fan of the REBA Show.
Your show.
Yeah, our show.
We are the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association, a registered 501c3 nonprofit corporation. We've been streaming live on Facebook and at the REBA Show on Twitter. Please follow us. This episode is available as a podcast on the REBA Show, and that's HREBA show. page at FBRN.us, and that stands for Fishbowl Radio Network.us, and at the REBA Connect.org. Again, that's HREBA Connect.org. If you have any specific questions or comments regarding this show or any other shows or anything related to housing or renting or anything, send us an email at rebashow@rebaconnect.org. Again, I am your host, Salvador Villalobos, co-hosting with me,
Val Garcia.
Thank you for listening. Have a great afternoon, and catch you on the flip side of next week. No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Olga's in next week.
Olga, REBA Show en Español with Olga Rios, la profesora. You don't want to miss it. If you have friends and family that speak Spanish, get them on next week, same time, same channel. Take care.
Thanks.
Hey, this is Sal,
And this is Val.
host of the REBA Show, Home Ownership, Hear It From the Experts.
Broadcasting live each week on Tuesdays at 2 to 3 p.m. from the Fishbowl Radio Network studios at Globe Light Park in Arlington, Texas.
Log on to hear from industry experts such as realtors, loan officers, title agents, and other real estate related professionals who will provide you important information if you're